Hello, everybody, and welcome to the No Games podcast. My name is Jaden Jesse.
And my name is Bubz.
Yes, now, this is going to be a very, we're trying to do a little kind of something with this, so a little bit of social commentary, a little bit of, music talk, whatever topic that we bring to the table for each week. See, each week, each of us is going to bring a topic to the table, and we're going to just discuss it. We're going to bring our opinions. We're going to, say really what we think kind of thing. But first, before we get into that, let's do a little bit of small talk. All right, how are you doing, Joe?
Small talk sounds good. I need small talk to break the ice. I don't do this stuff usually, so I'm a little bit awkward. I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. I'm a little bit hungover. Not gonna lie.
Okay, I don't want to put your business in the streets.
Were you gonna say again? Were you gonna throw some shade at me?
I was. I'm sorry. Okay.
Nah, it's okay. I have a problem. No, I was out. So I went boxing last night, and I just went out with one of the guys from boxing. Had a couple drinks. So it was supposed to be one drink that turned into two drinks, which for me is hangover inducing because I'm a lightweight.
Okay. Yep. That's
so
fair.
Yeah. Fun little fact. But no, we just sat there and talked shit for a couple hours, kind of like what we're gonna do here. So it was. I consider it a rehearsal. I consider last night a rehearsal for this.
Heck yeah.
But yeah, other than that, I'm doing good, man. Just psyched to get started.
So yeah, the boxing. Wait, so friend from boxing. So
yeah.
So you do boxing. I don't know if we've spoken about that before.
No, I don't think we have. So yeah, I do boxing. I signed up to the gym. When did I sign up? A couple months ago now. Just needed something that was an outlet. That makes sense.
Yeah.
So I woke up one Saturday and I was like, fuck it, I'll just see if there's boxing nearby, because boxing is one of those things I think a lot of people always I think it's got a very cool image, and I think a lot of people on some level or another have always thought to themselves, I wonder what it'd be like to box or to learn how to box. I think it's just so prevalent in the media. So yeah, I just signed up, went along one day, and instantly loved the atmosphere, because I think there's always kind of in my opinion anyway, there's always a bit of a risk when you go to any kind of combat sport club, that it's like it's the kind of thing that can attract assholes, right?
Yeah.
And so I think if you find a club that has a healthy culture where people are lifting each other up rather than beating each other down, then I think that's something quite special, and I think it does wonders for people's mental and emotional well-being as well as their physical well-being. It's not just a form of self-defense, So yeah, so I started that a couple months ago.
Fantastic.
And been loving it. So yeah, I try to go as often as possible. I woke up like an hour ago. The caffeine hasn't kicked in yet.
Time difference, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, I try to go as often as possible.
Yeah.
But right now I'm averaging 2 or 3 times a week. So yeah, just making friends along with it too, which is awesome.
Yeah, for sure, man. Well, one thing that I did want to speak on that you did say is, that sort of thing does help with your mental health, especially, anything really physical, going to the gym or whatever, or even just going for a walk, like that kind of thing tends to help your mental health. Like I've noticed as well, like sometimes, I'll just go for a walk, like sometimes I've got writer's block and everything, and like,
yeah.
And for some reason, when I go walking, I'll be like 5 or 10 minutes into walking, and then lyrics just start popping into my head, and I have to start writing them into my phone. Like, it's weird how things work out like that. Like, it is really good, even in the long run, to just get your neurons firing.
Yeah, it's interesting you say that. So I'm not a walk person. I don't like going on walks. I've never found them beneficial in that way, and in term specifically for clearing my head or improving my mood. It just doesn't work.
Yeah.
Other forms of physical activity do work like that. They do serve that purpose, but walking just isn't one of those. But what I will say happens when I'm so, and this kind of plays into your point that you just made, is that whenever I'm doing something like a manual menial task, right? Like gardening is a good example. Like if I need to go out and like clear the weeds or whatever, or mow the lawn, right? Without fail, almost every single time I'm doing something like that, or if I'm putting the laundry away, or if I'm cleaning like doing house chores, whatever it is, anything like that, the physicality of those things kinds of frees up my brain to get the cogs whirring, right? And I'll very often find myself, thinking really deeply and in a really hyper focused way about like a political topic that I just heard about that I'm trying to now digest and make sense of, or anything like that, anything that requires like a deep level of thinking. Physical activity like that, particularly low effort manual exercises, really helps my brain to sort of not switch off. It actually does the opposite. It helps my brain switch on, but it helps it focus on something rather than jumping from thought to thought all over the place.
Yeah, when you have things like that specifically that kind of get you into that mindset of really kind of deep diving into those kind of things, it's kind of it's good. It helps you kind of think about things kind of more in depth in the way that like you really what's the word I'm looking for? You really kind of flesh things out more in your head rather than kind of being like, okay, this is the thought that popped into my head, and but building on that is kind of where the hard part comes in. But when you're doing something like you're saying, like something physical, it tends to help you, like when your blood's flowing a bit more and it go into your head, it just tends to help you flesh out those thoughts a little more.
Yeah, well, what happens is it depends on the type of activity, right? So if I'm doing something like I said that's not strenuous, that's just like menial, repetitive, like digging up a weed, folding some clothes, putting them in a pile, folding some clothes, putting them in a pile, right? Stuff like that, the latter, helps me specifically helps me think about other stuff, right? But focus on other stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
Strenuous activity like boxing, for example, when I'm in the club, it serves the opposite. It helps me get out of my mind, right? And it gives me something singular to focus on, i.e. what's going on in the moment, right? Like hit and don't get hit, right? Seems like a very simple task, but it's not very simple. It requires a great deal of concentration and being in the moment to do that, or making sure that you're landing all your punches with good technique on the bag, for example. It gives me something very present to focus all my efforts into. So it depends on the kind of activity. But overall, I would agree. I think that just kind of goes to show that being busy with your hands, whether it's a hobby or whether it's sport or anything like that, is crucial for getting outside of your head in some way or another.
Yeah, absolutely. I did want to bring up something as well, something off topic, but something weird that happened over like past couple days. So basically, I got an email from so basically it was so. To put a bit of context to this, okay, so I was recruiting on a website called Star Now to try and get a director together for a music video that I want to make for the newest single I put out. Next thing I know, well, not next thing, so the Star Now job has kind of finished now. I haven't done the music video yet. I'm still waiting on the director or whatever. That's neither here nor there. But I got a random email that basically acted like it was a Dropbox link that was being sent to me.
Okay, immediately I'm suspicious.
Yeah, but they made it look like literally like how a Dropbox thing would look. But the main thing that tipped me off, okay, was So to begin with, it's like, oh, Mark has shared a document. First of all, who the fuck is Mark? I don't
Who's
know a
Mark?
Mark. Okay.
Right.
And then, so when you send a Dropbox link in, and it, like when they get an email when you've sent it, under it, it'll have like, under they've shared a document, it'll have like a hyperlink that you can click to go straight to the document.
Yeah.
Where that is, it's literally just text, but they've colored it blue.
Okay. Wow. That's.
And then
We're dealing with some amateurs here.
Yep. And then I read through the email a little bit more, and it says, so it's some promotion company or something, but they're like, our team will create a music video treatment for your single, fly you down to Atlanta to shoot it, and then premiere it in Time Square. Not Times Square, Time Square.
Time Square. Oh yes, Time Square in Atlanta.
Yeah. And on World Star. What?
First of all, my guy. I'm still thinking about the blue text thing.
Yep. I mean, like,
that's crazy.
For all I know, like, okay, yeah, they said fly you to Atlanta, but then for all I know, Time Square is some damn town in Slovakia, and they're gonna play it on some CRTV in the middle of the friggin' square, like, jeez.
Dude. So, but what's interesting?
Mm-hmm.
Although that was a phishing attempt, quite obviously.
Yes.
And this kind of leads me on to another subject that I'm really passionate about, which I think I was talking to you about just before we started recording, is that what's interesting is that you've been searching legitimately for, promotional video directors and whatnot, music video directors. So you've been searching in that space, and then how long was it since after you started searching for that stuff and recruiting that you got this email?
Oh, maybe a couple weeks.
Couple weeks, right?
Yep.
So my question to you then is like, how the fuck did they find you, right? If these people now are they lurking on the website, or and this is kind of like, so this kind of raises a really, for me anyway, interesting point about data privacy and data security, and how easy it is to be targeted by both legitimate, albeit annoying and shady, phishing and ad techniques, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, that just reminded me of that. So I'm someone who's very passionate about that sort of thing and protecting myself against it. So
absolutely.
I've been getting for a few months now, actually, I've been getting a string of pretty consistent string of phishing attempts from Facebook, even though I haven't been on Facebook for a year.
Oh god.
Just over a year, saying that someone from Moscow just logged into my account. Someone from Moscow just logged into your account. Yeah, exactly. And I've also been getting ones for Microsoft Outlook too, which I do have an account with. That one's a little bit sketchier.
Yeah.
The thing is, though, is some of these phishing attempts are pretty damn sophisticated. Like, they're getting better at making it look legit. Like, they'll even have the company's real headquarters listed at the bottom of the email, for example. But of course, if you're ever in doubt, what they say to do is to check the sender address. And usually, sometimes, if you check the sender's address, it gives them away instantly, because it'll be like just a random string of letters and numbers and then like a fake domain, right? And be like, okay, this obviously didn't come from Facebook. This one, however, looked like it could be some form of corporate Facebook email address or some form of corporate Outlook email address. So I Googled it initially. I was like, okay, I got to make sure this is legit now. And thankfully, I managed to find a couple forums of people saying that they got this exact, like verbatim, the exact same email.
Yeah.
With verbatim the exact same Moscow IP address. So I was like, okay, this is obviously a phishing attempt. Cool. That kind of put my mind at ease. But it did get me thinking, like, I don't even think you would need to be extremely technologically incompetent to fall for that. I think that a good number of people could have probably fallen for that.
Oh yeah.
Because of how sophisticated they're getting now. And it's worrying, man. It's worrying, that the idea that and also the fact that that wasn't just a one-off email, that they have been, like I say, they have been persistent with it. They've been tenacious, right?
Yeah.
And so again, especially if you're someone who isn't as in the loop, technologically speaking, with these kinds of things, and you're getting bombarded with constantly, like I think at one point I was getting one every single day.
Yeah.
And it was being, directly routed to my junk inbox, sure.
Yeah.
But what if it wasn't? And what if you're someone who isn't really in the know about that sort of stuff? Of course you're going to feel pressured to do something about it. So
yeah, of course. I mean, the worst thing is that that email actually came from the same email that for a while has been like, so I don't know if they're real or not, but basically acting as like this music marketing agency or whatever. But the thing that's weird though is that, so I would think, okay, like if they found it, if they were sending me emails through my booking email or something like that, like that's on my Twitter, that's on my Instagram, whatever, like that
Sure.
makes sense.
Yeah.
But it's my personal email that they're sending it to.
Right.
And that's where it gets weird. I'm just like,
yeah.
Where did you get that? You obviously bought that from somewhere.
I'm really glad you raised that point. I don't know if you're aware of these, but there's a couple of resources that you can use that actually you can actually enter your email address, and it will scan the dark web and give you a result pretty much instantly about whether or not and the surface web, whether or not your email address that you entered has been involved in a data leak. And if it has, it'll tell you the website that it was leaked on and the date that it was leaked. So that might sound scary, and it is, it's not pleasant. But it's for me, it's kind of a double-edged sword in the sense that I've done it with a couple of my personal email addresses, and one of them has been involved in 3 data leaks in the last 5 years.
Jeez.
The majority of people, I would say, if they put their email address in, would probably have it flag up as being leaked at somewhere at some point. Now, the reason I say it's a double-edged sword is part of me thinks, well, at least it's not me. At least it's not like I specifically am being targeted, right?
Yeah.
But another way to look at that is, well, that means that if everybody at some point in time is going to be a victim of this, it means that probably one of two things. A, that hacking attempts are becoming more and more sophisticated. Or B, it's that the websites and the sources from which people's personal data are being hacked into and acquired are sources that have a very large database. Websites that have a huge customer base. And if that's the case, then it means that some of our biggest websites that we trust with our data are lacking in their data security practices, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, let me pull it up real quick, and I'll give you a couple of them. So, do you use a password manager for anything?
I don't. No.
You don't? Okay. So there's an app that you can get. It's entirely free. It's called Dashlane. And its primary function is to serve as a password manager, right? So that you can, that does one of two things. It means
not
that all your,
by the way.
Not sponsored.
But hit us up, Dashlane.
I wish. It does one of two things. From a practicality standpoint, it means that all of your passwords are stored in one app, so that you should never have to forget a password ever again, right? So you can sit and you can match a password to a specific website, so you know exactly what website each password is for. The other side of things is that it's a data security standpoint, right? Because it means that if you are smart and use a different password for each of your logins, it means that any one password, if somebody successfully guesses any one of your passwords, it greatly limits the number of websites and logins and data that they have access to that you're a part of, right? What Dashlane does is it offers randomly generated passwords, which are literally just strings of letters and numbers, which makes them exponentially harder to guess, right? And it also means that everything is contained in one centralized app, which itself you have to set a master password to. So the only person that can access all of your passwords is you, right?
Yeah.
But a secondary feature of that and it's offered by other data privacy apps too. It's kind of becoming quite a ubiquitous thing. Is again, I think it's part of their free trial, but it might be with Dashlane. It might be a premium feature. Is that they have a dark web scanning feature and a surface web scanning feature where, like I say, you can input your email address. You can input if you feel comfortable doing so. Even though they're a reputable and established company, I understand some people might be hesitant to do this, but if you are comfortable, you can enter your credit card details and it will scan the dark web and see if your credit card details have ever been leaked. You can upload a copy of, say, your ID, if you have a government issued ID, and it will scan the dark web and see if anybody's tried to use your ID details for anything shady, right?
Yeah.
So going back to your point is, what you found the most scary about this whole thing is that someone managed to get hold of your personal email address, right? My point, and this is a very convoluted way of saying this, I'm just really passionate about it, so I'm sorry for going on about it.
No, it's fine.
My point is that there are now tools and features out there that have been developed that will allow you to, at the very least, see if your data details have been leaked, and if so, where. So that way, at the very least, obviously it doesn't reverse the leak, it doesn't go back and undo time, but what it does mean is that if it tells you that if it gives you the specific website that it was leaked, a leak was detected, you can then go and delete your personal data from that website. You can shut down your account, you can email their privacy team or whatever and say, hey, I request the immediate deletion of my data because it's been leaked. I don't trust you guys with it. And then it kind of, that creates one less avenue for what we call malicious actors, hackers, whatever. Hackers is one of the main examples, but anyone who wants to do nefarious things with your data, it creates one less avenue for them to access that data.
Hell yeah, well that's some knowledge.
And seed.
Well, yes, exactly. That's some knowledge that the incredible rapper and just great guy Bubz just dropped on you people right now, okay? And me, because I'm gonna look into Dashlane for sure.
My guy.
Yes, exactly. All right, well, let's get on with the topic for today. As much as I could talk about this internet security stuff like all day, to be honest. But let's go on to this. So basically, for my topic today, I brought in some posts from the subreddit called "Am I the Asshole?" Now, are you familiar with that, Joe?
Absolutely. I spend way more time than I would care to admit on Reddit, so yeah, I'm familiar with it.
Fantastic. Well, hopefully, I mean, it'd be cool if you haven't read these before, but if you have, that's fine. This is a place to give our opinions. But first off, I'll read the title of this one, and let's just get the initial thoughts. So, am I the asshole for using my hearing aids to make someone look stupid?
Okay, I haven't come across that one before, and usually with these titles, they're deliberately worded in such a way that everyone immediately thinks yes, and then you dive into the explanation, and they're like, "By the way, I neglected to mention blah 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 blah."
Yep.
With this one, I got nothing. Okay, so I'm really curious to hear this.
Okay, let's go. I personally, I'm thinking.
Place your bets. Are they the asshole?
Honestly, I would feel a kind of way about it, maybe. But also, like, I don't know, depending on the context, I might kind of understand. So let's get that context now.
Yeah.
Alright, so, says, I, female who's 18, have moderate hearing loss. I lost hearing over the years with many ear-related incidents. I wear hearing aids to hear people talk sometimes, but I mainly use them at school. When I start the school year, it says when I start school year. But anyway, when I start the school year, I tell the teacher that I wear hearing aids, and they normally put me next to their desk so I can hear them without the use of my hearing aids. In one of my classes, I have a girl, Lily, wonder if that's the real name or a fake name. I would hope it's a fake name. Um, Lily likes to yell at people to get them to come to her instead of getting up to talk to them. No matter no matter who tells her to stop, she won't. The teacher, the teacher stopped trying to get her to stop a long time ago. Okay, so first initial thoughts, I'm thinking this person should be. I mean, it's a classroom. You're not supposed to be disrupting the class like that and just yelling
Right.
across the room.
Right. Yeah. And like, so I think that the context is pretty important here. So this person's in school. This person's 18, right, which is still young. To me, this just strikes me immediately as something just really immature. For me, it would boil down to immaturity. Yeah, it's kind of an asshole thing to do.
Yeah.
Is it malicious or nefarious? I don't know. I don't want to attribute too much malice to an 18-year-old who's just being a bit of a dick.
True. Well, let's continue because this is a long post. There's still
Oh,
some
great.
more
Okay, I
paragraphs.
thought that was it.
No. I just thought in the kind of middle of it, let's kind of get the initial thoughts, but there's more to it. Okay. I was on the opposite side of the room, and she began yelling at me. She has done this all year, and it was annoying. I didn't look at her. I just kept working on the other schoolwork. I wasn't going to give her special treatment because she was lazy. And then in parentheses, she put, she had no mobility issues. She just doesn't want to walk to other people. Okay. Yeah, so then, so she kept getting louder and more frustrated that I wasn't going to her. She yelled at me for 10 minutes before she stood up and walked over to me. She was very mad at me and kept saying that it was stupid that I didn't go to her and that she shouldn't have to stand up. She very loudly asked, what are you deaf? There's some grammatical stuff in this, but that's fine. Let's see. The entire class was watching us, and in parentheses, I have no idea where the teacher was. I slowly turned to her before taking out the case that has my hearing aids in it, and made a show of putting them on. I then very loudly asked her, "What?" She got very red in the face and then turned around and walked back to her seat. No one in that class knew I wore hearing aids because my hair covers them. My sister said it was mean of me to do that to her because she didn't know that I wasn't wearing my hearing aids and I couldn't hear her because she was very loud. So, am I the asshole? I think I'm going to say no. Yeah. Are you hearing me? You there?
I'm here.
Okay, I thought the mic might have cut out again. Oh, good.
No, I'm just letting you talk, man.
Yeah, all good. I think, definitely, I don't think they're the asshole. I mean, at the end of the day, if this person does that so often in this class that they're notoriously known for that, like, you just, you kind of just pay them no mind, because it's just like, well, you're just doing it because you're lazy, basically.
Yeah, I mean, personally, what I will say first of all is that I find it really interesting. This to me kind of is a window into the kinds of things that people consider problems or drama. Drama is a better word.
Yeah.
Depending on their age, right? So like, I feel like this is very much like an 18-year-old piece of drama. Right, like, oh, I made someone blush in class. Am I the asshole? Do you know what I mean? Like, so
exactly.
But regardless, I'm kind of inclined to side with OP here, like, because the girl, this Lily person, if that's her real name, just sounds like a bit of a pain in the ass. Yeah. And also, like, being a pain in the ass in and of itself is not necessarily like cause for or justification to embarrass that person. However, what she's specifically doing, where she's kind of loud and obnoxious, I feel like it just demonstrates a lack of social skills, almost.
Yeah.
And so it kind of this Lily character's behavior kind of screams to me, I'm the main character.
Yes,
You know what
and I
I
mean,
mean?
especially being at that age, like at 18,
Right.
like
You
I would
should know better.
assume exactly. I would assume that because the OP did say that they are 18, so I would assume they're at least around that age, which they really should know better at that age. I mean, it's just you don't. You don't do that. I mean, I couldn't imagine. Like, I was 18 when I went to university. I couldn't imagine just sitting at one end of the room and then wanting to call out to another guy in my class and just yelling at the top of my lungs over the other side of the class. Like, why?
Yeah.
Why? What is the point? Like, just get up and go over there. Like, if anything, in that sort of setting, I'd be more like, I'd be too worried that I'm talking too loud, even when I'm right next to somebody.
Yeah. Nah, I'm saying not the asshole.
Yeah. So we
Right.
got a comment here. So it says, "This is you know what? Yeah. I'll just go with what the comment says. So OP, you are a hero. This is glorious. Just desserts you have dished up to this belligerent asshole." Yes. Yes.
That's a very Reddit comment. That's
Yeah.
a very Reddit. I'm willing to let me guess. Right, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that comment has at least one award.
It has 3. So
3 awards.
yes.
Okay.
Yes. No, that's a great comment. I love that. Okay, another comment says, hopefully she'll stop it now and think before she speaks. I mean,
Yeah.
being if she's already like that, I feel like, I mean, yeah, this was quite a big show that this particular girl made to the OP made to make her feel bad, but it's just like, I don't know, if people are already kind of in that mindset, it's kind of hard for them to kind of break out of it. It seems like she's got a lot of kind of self-reflection to do, to be honest.
Yeah, agreed. And it might be the catalyst for something, but yeah, I feel like maybe this will happen and then she'll kind of learn her lesson, not even on a realization level, not even on a self-reflection level like you say, but just on a like purely on a societal embarrassment level. I feel like she might learn her lesson a little bit and then probably kind of go back to her old ways, but hopefully not. I'm rooting for Lily to use this as a growth moment. Come on, Lily, you can do it.
Yes.
You've been ousted on Reddit. If that doesn't kick you up the arse, I don't know what will. Like,
yes, exactly, and especially if that's like actually her real name, that'd be crazy.
yeah. So. Okay, I think that was a fairly clear-cut one.
Yes, very much so. All right, well, let's go to the next one. So yeah, very clear-cut, not the asshole. NTA. Exactly. Yep. Dude, in the recording, I swear to God, that's probably going to be like right exactly at the same time.
Yeah, it's going to be synchronized as fuck. It's going to be perfect.
Dude, by the 10th episode, we'll be doing synchronized dancing and everything. Like,
next meme.
All right, let's go. So this one is called "Am I the asshole for humiliating my friend at my fundraiser because she outed me?"
Am I the asshole for humiliating my friend at my fundraiser?
Yep.
Okay.
Because she outed me.
Okay.
So, I don't know, man. I mean, depends how big the fundraiser was. Depends if the fundraiser was like for kids, and depends how you humiliated her, I think.
Yeah. There's lots of juicy details awaiting, I'm sure.
Exactly. Because, like, if she humiliated her by like I don't know, very Australian term, but I'll say, I don't know. Do you know what dacking is?
No.
Okay, dacking is like when you go to like when you pull someone's pants down, or whatever.
Okay, I don't know why, but that's the first thing my brain went to. But I didn't want to say it in case it was way off, and you were like, "The fuck have you got on your mind, my guy?" But yeah, okay. That's
Yep.
fine. So it is that. Okay.
Yes, exactly. So I just hope that it's not that, and especially, well, I mean, you shouldn't do that in any setting, of course, because that is exposing somebody without their permission. But
It's a crime.
exactly, exactly. But especially if this was like a fundraiser for, like, say, a children's charity, like a
Hmm.
children's hospital or something, that's even worse. Okay.
Yeah, that's getting into some dicey territory now.
Yeah. Okay, well, let's get into it. Let's find out these juicy details. Okay, I was at a fairly large fundraiser I organized tonight, and it got completely ruined by my ex friend. Let's call her Jenna. Okay, so fake name, great.
Okay.
I'm quite open with my friends about my line of work, in parentheses, sex work. But I'm not with my family and those I don't know well. During the event, I was talking to a group and Jenna blurts out she can donate so much because she makes so much making porn. I was stunned. It became incredibly awkward. I pulled Jenna aside and asked her what the hell. She said it wasn't a big deal. I told her it's a big deal to me. It's not her information to share. She tried dismissing it and I got angry. I told her to leave. It became a heated argument. After some back and forth, I told her that at least I work for my money and don't need a rich partner that I don't love to get the lifestyle I want.
Oof.
Ugh, that cuts deep.
Oof.
That's cuts deep. And so a little bit of an explanation. So she said, that is true. She told me in the past that she's only with her boyfriend because he's rich.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, out the outer, I guess, in some ways.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she still refused to leave and continued to cause a scene. Eventually, I called security and had her kicked out. After the event, I checked my phone. The argument we had got recorded, but only from part way through, so the bit about my work is missing. But there is the part with what I said about her partner and her being kicked out. It had been shared within our circle a lot. Jenna had blown up my phone. She was furious. Apparently her boyfriend saw it and broke up with her. Oh my god. She told me and I humiliated her and ruined her relationship. Am I the asshole? Thoughts?
Thoughts. This is a bit of a tough one for me because I have certain personal opinions and biases that easily come into play. Is OP the asshole for outing her? I would say that it's a perfectly understandable human reaction if someone, embarrasses her like that in public, knowing that that is information. Well, here's the thing: is it explained whether or not her friend knew that this that her line of work was a secret to her friends and family? Did the other friend know that? Does it say?
It doesn't say, no.
Okay, because I feel like that's an important detail. But I will say this: I'm gonna give OP's friend the benefit of the doubt and say that there wasn't any particular malice in the way that she did it. Maybe it was a crass joke. Maybe it was inappropriate to blurt out in that particular setting, right? Yeah. And also, I definitely understand OP's frustration when their friend, despite after hearing from OP that she was upset with her, and then sort of playing it off like it was nothing, disregarding that it was, disregarding how it made OP feel. I understand OP's reaction to then want to, jab back at her, right? Yeah. And say that thing about her and her partner. Yeah. So I understand that. I also, part of me does feel like OP's friend's boyfriend breaking up with her is just desserts. right? I mean,
Yeah.
if I were with someone who, and they had not told me that they were only with me for my money, not that I have money, but if I did have money and that was the reason someone was with me and they didn't tell me, and then I found out through a video that they didn't really have feelings for me or anything like that, that there was no meaningful emotional connection, sure, I'd want to break up with them.
Oh yeah.
So I understand. So I do not feel sorry for OP's friends' consequences in that manner.
Yeah.
This is one of these things where I feel like I don't really side with one party or another. And I wonder, that might just be, like I say, I'm not going to get into it, but that might be because of those personal biases and opinions that I have about certain topics that are preventing me from like fully siding with OP. Having said that, this is Reddit, so I'm going to go out on a limb with a fair amount of certainty and say that she's going to be deemed not the asshole.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
I see. The thing is, I think definitely the reaction was warranted. I feel like it's the information that I find the problem with both of them. It's so I don't know. It's just I feel like definitely OP is very much within her rights to want to kind of get back at this person, because you feel that way when you've been wronged, kind of thing. I mean,
yeah, right.
May not be the right thing to do, but you feel like you want to. But to go about it like that, I don't know. But it's just so the thing. Then it's just like, well, tit for tat. I mean, you gave up some personal information about me. All right, well, let me put your business in the streets now, and it's just honestly, I feel like because she left out the fact that she didn't. The OP left out the fact that she didn't let her friend know that her family doesn't know that she does that.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like she might have left that. OP might have left that out on purpose,
intentionally. Yeah.
Because that doesn't prove her point. That doesn't prove that what she did in retaliation was justified.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking too. Like, this is the thing with these things. Even when people go into detail, are happy to go into detail and provide further clarification, there's no way of us knowing, unless we were there and unless we're in that circle with these kinds of posts. There's no way of us knowing as the reader the full details, right? So that's why I'm kind of naturally reluctant or skeptical to side with one party or another with these things, because I have no fucking idea. Like, people are, at the end of the day, this might sound cynical, people are manipulative. People will leave out the details that benefit them when doing these things. So I think it's a rare breed of person that will be 100% transparent on Reddit when trying to determine if they are the asshole. There's a ton of people that go onto these things knowing exactly what details to include and knowing exactly what kind of response it will garner from the reader, just so that they can, because they already have decided. They're not trying to get an honest reaction. They're not trying to get an honest self-reflection, self-growth moment. No. They're going in wanting to be sided with and knowing exactly what they need to say in order to make the audience side with them. So that might be cynical, but that's my gut feeling.
Yeah, for sure. I'm definitely on the same page with you on that. All right, well, let's get into some of the comments that were on this. So, so one person said, "Not the asshole. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. Maybe next time she'll think twice before throwing rocks from her glass house." I mean, yeah, I guess so. Two wrongs don't make a right, though.
Exactly. And I've kind of been thinking about this recently. What's interesting? I mean, I do understand the glass house argument, and I understand that people are very quick to cast judgment when they themselves might be guilty of the same things, or even things of comparable immorality. Let's say, for want of a better word. But just because people act as if because you're a hypocrite, if you're a hypocrite in judging someone, that automatically makes what they do justifiable, and that's not the case. Like, if I am calling someone out for being a liar, and I am a liar, someone might say to me, "You're being a hypocrite." Yeah, maybe, but it doesn't make the other person any more honest. It doesn't. It doesn't detract from the fact that they are a liar. You know what I mean? So that's my 2 cents on that.
Oh yeah, well that's the thing. Like that's like basically if you were to say that I watch furry porn, and then next up,
why the fuck would I? Why is that the fucking example that comes to your mind, my guy?
There's just an example. Okay, there's just an example. All right.
All I'm saying is that it didn't take you very long to come up with that example. That's all I'm saying.
Hey, look, I may be thinking about furry porn. It's neither here nor there.
Am I?
All right, but
am I the asshole
here? Let's make a post right now. Okay.
Go on.
So if you say, oh yeah, well, Jaden likes watching furry porn, and then I'm like, okay, but he likes watching trannies. And Siri didn't like that either, apparently.
I was going to say, please tell me that Siri did not just give you results for furry porn.
No. She just said she didn't know how to respond to it. All right. Which is fair. All right.
Neither do I, my guy. Neither do I.
Yes. But that doesn't make it okay. Like, it's just like, okay, but so you're doing a kind of weird thing, which for those who like that sort of thing, fine. That's your prerogative. Cool. But it doesn't make it right to be like, okay, well, you said this thing that was very personal and very private about me. You know what? I'm going to say something very personal and private about you. I'm going to make you feel like you're wrong and you're bad for doing this kind of thing. It's just like, okay, the woman, okay, yeah, yes, the whole thing with her being, the woman being with her boyfriend because he was rich, that is very bad, for sure.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, it's just like, it's just not your information to put out there. It's really not. All right. Well, I think it's.
Is there time for one more?
Yeah. So the general consensus for that one, by the way, is definitely not the asshole. But okay. I don't think it's that cut and dry, to be honest.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I wouldn't call it cut and dry either. I think, I guess it all depends on. I think that we are in a cultural time right now that's pretty big on the concept of revenge, and a lot of things. And I feel like a lot of people feel that revenge is justified in a lot of circumstances.
Yeah.
When it comes to public humiliation, or like you say, throwing rocks in glass houses.
Yeah.
And I think that Reddit is a breeding ground for that kind of mentality. So it doesn't surprise me that is the general consensus.
Yes, for sure. Yeah, I feel the same way, to be honest. It's just, it seems to be a lot of people who want to justify their actions, especially in these kind of subreddits, to be honest.
Yeah. All
right. Well, let's move on to the next one now. Now, I picked this one because now if I'm correct, let me know if I'm not correct. But you are married, right?
I am indeed married.
Yes. Okay. I didn't want to get that wrong and look like a damn fool. All right. So I think this one would be interesting to hear your take on it. So, am I the asshole for upgrading my house's thermostat so I could password protect it from my wife?
That sounds so trivial to me, but I understand it. Like, okay.
All right. Well, let's get into that.
Right on into it.
Yes. All right. So, my wife, 26 female, and I, 28 male, have been married for about a year and a half now. Oh no, about half a year now, sorry. We lived together in an apartment before getting married, and now we live in a house I inherited from my grandmother. This summer has been quite hot, so like most people, we have been running our air conditioner nearly around the clock. My wife and I have very different ideas of how we should run it though. Using energy saver recommendations, I like to keep it at around 76 degrees Fahrenheit and on low. My wife
Okay.
likes to turn it down to 60 degrees. And
What?
yeah, yep. Uh 60 degrees. I'm trying to think of what that would be.
So 60 Fahrenheit in Celsius is around, I think it's around like 12 or 13 Celsius.
Okay, jeez, that's
Yeah,
too
yeah,
cold.
exactly. Yeah. First of all, the house would be a fucking Arctic tundra. Second of all, I don't even want to think about what their energy bill is like. That's insane.
Oh my god, yeah. Yeah. Jesus. Alright. Let's see. So and she blasts it on the highest setting as well. Then she turns it off when she gets cold. Then turn it back on again when she gets hot. I've tried discussing this with her, but there's literally nothing I can do or say to convince her. She currently stays at home taking care of the house while I go to work, and the second I'm out the door, the thermostat is messed with. I've tried showing her our exorbitantly, I gotta sound it out. All right, expensive.
That's a big word, Jaden.
I feel proud of myself today. All right, E is for exorbitantly. All right, thank you, Bert Nerney. All right. All right. I tried showing her our exorbitantly expensive power bill from May of all months, so it was going to go up. But she doesn't care. She says that she's at home all day and she should have control over it. We've argued about this on and off since. About 3 weeks ago, I got a reservation for a new digital thermostat installation. The guys finally came a few days ago and installed a new thermostat off our older air conditioner unit. The first thing I did was password protect it, so you would need a PIN to change any of the settings. My wife came home a few hours after I had set the PIN and noticed the new unit. When she tried to change the settings, she was met with a request for a PIN and she asked me what it was. I told her that I wouldn't be telling her that. Then she asked me what she should do if she gets hot. I responded that she can still turn the air conditioning on and off without the PIN. Okay, I guess, yeah. So
yeah, that's true.
Then, the next morning I left for work as normal, setting it to 76. When I got home in the afternoon, I found my wife on the living room floor, pantomiming a fainting spell.
Oh Jesus! This okay. I'm not gonna lie. This woman sounds kind of high maintenance, but go on.
Yeah, she sounds a little dramatic. She mustered the energy to say, "Help, water." I ignored her because you faint from heat in a climate-controlled room.
Yeah.
When she realized I wouldn't give her attention, she exploded with anger and yelled that she could have died, prompting another argument. She ended it with calling me controlling and hasn't said more than a word to me since. Things have been rough for the past couple days. I feel like what I did was completely justified, but was I an asshole about this?
Okay. As someone who lives in the US and AC is incredibly important here, I understand. There's a few things that I would need a few additional details that I think come into play.
Yep.
So first of all, I think we should acknowledge that OP's wife is at home all day taking care of the house.
Yep.
So she should be awarded, obviously, along with that, a certain degree of of comfort when it comes to the inside climate.
Yeah.
That's not unreasonable. The other thing I need to know is do they have ceiling fans or other secondary forms, like forms of cooling, right? And if
Yeah.
so, how many are they at their disposal? Because like you can, so me and my wife, we keep the right now because it's summer here. We keep the thermostat typically higher than we would during the um, well, no, we try to keep it lower than we would during the winter, sorry, but we
Yeah.
also acknowledge that because it's the summer, it's going to have to work harder. So to try not to run up too much of an energy bill, we do keep it higher at a higher internal temperature than we would like, slightly elevated than we would ideally like because of the energy bill. Excuse me, but we have ceiling fans that we make use of to try and counteract that a little bit. Excuse me. So that comes into play. I
Don't get
feel
the
like,
Rona right now. All right.
yeah, I feel like if they have ceiling fans, then OP's wife should make use of those secondary, measures to try and counteract the higher thermostat. I think that putting it down to 60 is fucking psychopathic. I think I'm like, there is no fucking reason why anybody should have their internal thermostat at 60 Fahrenheit. That is insane. That is
Yeah.
absolutely insane. So that's one thing.
Yeah.
I think that if OP has genuinely tried to talk to his wife about that, and she's just not bargaining, and there's just no compromise, and like compromise has failed, I kind of
Divorce.
sympathize with his attempts to take more stringent measures. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I understand that, and also that the very last part of that story really kind of gave me an insight into how his wife is personality wise. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like he's kind of high maintenance.
I'm kind of glad you missed what I said.
Oh yeah, why?
It probably cut out. But right after you were like, "Oh yeah," well, if he's already spoken to her about it and everything, and she refuses to do anything, I'm just like, divorce. Like,
I gotta tell you some. So my wife obviously heard me talking about that, about how nobody should have it at 60, and I just opened my phone and she's just texted me, "No, that sounds great. Shut up." I'm like, no. So now I gotta prepare myself, brace myself. This whole week we're probably gonna be in an Arctic tundra.
Oh no. I hope I haven't started an argument between you and your
Yeah, this is your fault.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
deflecting the blame from both OP and his wife and putting it all on you. It's your fault.
God. I'm expecting anthrax in the mail. Okay.
Jesus.
I'm kidding.
I'm very pleased to announce that I have no idea, nor do I wish to find out how one weaponizes anthrax.
Oh,
put it out there now.
I thought you were going to say, I have no idea, and nor do I wish to find out where you live.
Well, that too. But,
what, you're never going to come visit me in Australia? Where?
Man, do you know how many fucking hours it is on a plane, my guy?
You know how many hours it is on the plane to Texas? Right.
Yeah.
It's the same.
Actually, how long is it? Okay, I'm going to look that up. Meanwhile, while I'm looking that up, I want you to give your 2 cents, and then we can move to the comments.
Okay. Yeah, I just think that, he's tried talking to her about it. I mean, yes, absolutely, as you said, she's at home all day. She's keeping house, and that is very much, commendable, and she should definitely be afforded that, to be comfortable at home. But also there's got to be some compromise somewhere, and it seems like they're kind of pulling each which way. I mean, she wants it really low, and then he's like, you know what, I'm gonna put a password on it, and you can't do anything now. It's just like, okay, we'll come up with a kind of medium. Like, I don't know, like for myself, like I love the cold weather for sure. Like I can't stand hot weather, but when I'm sleeping, like in summer and everything, I have a little desk fan that I have just like kind of pointing kind of towards my face, like not right on my face, but like kind of pointing towards my face, and that's enough. And like, I mean, over here, I mean, I don't know what it is Fahrenheit, but Celsius, it gets to like sometimes like 30 degrees of a night time even.
That's about. That's like 95-ish Fahrenheit. Right now, we've been in, like, the other day, for example, in Arizona, which is fairly close to Texas.
Yeah.
Fairly. They were approaching 50 degrees Celsius.
Yeah. Sure. Damn.
But yeah, those little desk fans. I mean, I feel you, man. They're a lifesaver.
Oh yeah, and especially because I mean, I see like I don't know if you're well you can see there back there the wood there that's my bed. I sleep right there. So like so my desk is like right next to my head. So I have a desk fan on my desk, like kind of next to my head. But
Yeah. Hey man, you gotta do what you gotta do.
exactly. I gotta have the Mac over here. I gotta have the PC over here. It's an ordeal. But anyway, first world problems. I'm sorry.
I know. God, you have it so hard.
I know. I I just keep pushing forward somehow. But anyway, comments. Let's see. There's one comment says, "Grown adults acting like kids. 75 degrees is too hot. 60 is too cold. How about a compromise? Like adults in a relationship would do. And what do you mean your wife stays home taking care of house? What does your house do that requires someone full time to do it?" And then they said everyone sucks here.
Yeah, that's neither here nor there. That's just a Redditor being. I guarantee you, that's someone listening to OP's. This is a relationship, a marriage in which the woman has probably consensually, willingly agreed to stay home because that's what she wants to do. And someone's picking up on the OP's word and then being like, "Oh, you're one of those guys, huh? You making her stay in the kitchen?" And it's of absolutely no fucking relevance to the story whatsoever.
No.
So that pisses me off. But anyway, this is a certified Reddit moment. But
oh my god! Like, come on! Like, okay, yeah. What? It's not about the fact that that things need doing all the time. Like, it's not about that. Like, okay, like she's trying to do a nice thing. Okay, yeah, her husband goes out to work, so she stays home and she makes sure the house is looking nice for when he comes home, so he can relax and everything. Like, that's a very nice thing to do. And yes, she should definitely be afforded some luxuries. There should be a compromise, but she's I don't know, she is absolutely it is a very valid point that the OP made about her staying home to take care of house. Like, that's I don't know, I any partner that does that, whether they can work and have chosen not to work, or they don't need to work because maybe their partner earns enough money, like either way, it's just like, well, okay, but it's not like they're sitting at home doing nothing. They're making sure that the place doesn't fall apart while you're away, basically.
Yeah.
Like,
sure.
That's I think this commenter is kind of right when they do say, everybody sucks here. But
it's a shitty situation if you feel like you have to password protect your thermostat from your spouse. That's a really shitty situation. And I mean, I think it's entirely, the rest of his point, I think, is perfectly valid. I think that it's entirely plausible that both parties are acting kind of immature here. But yeah, again, and in an ideal world, sure, compromise. But again, like, OP claims that all his other avenues and attempts have been exhausted. Does that include compromise? Has he just... What does OP mean when he says that he's tried talking to her? Does that just mean that he's tried telling her that 76 is fine and she won't agree with him? Because if that's the case, then he needs to do more to compromise, right? Yes. You need to... Because there's definitely a big halfway point between 60 and 76.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And it's 68.
Exactly.
There's literally a halfway point. So...
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. No, they need to sit down and have a mature conversation rather than just like, I like it like
rather
this.
than doing pantomimes and giving each other the cold shoulder for 2 days. Like, come on, get a grip. Get a grip, guys.
Oh, I'm gonna die. Okay.
Water.
Oh, please, sir, can I have some water?
Please, sir. Please, sir, just a degree or two colder, I beg of you.
I understand you've been working all day.
Is it too much to ask to be able to decrease the thermostat by 16 degrees Fahrenheit? Is that too much to ask? I'm watch. You watch. My phone's gonna light up in a second. And
Oh God, please no,
So-
please no. I don't want to have to start. I don't want to have started something between you guys. Okay. Oh, that's.
yeah. Oh, anyway.
But the difference is you all can have a
swiftly on.
mature conversation about it, unlike these people. That's the difference.
We have both at different points in the relationship. Both of us have been the one lying on the floor. So I'm just saying.
But I mean, so you'll have been together for more than 6 months, right?
Yeah, we've been married for a year and a half.
Yeah.
So not long, but yeah, longer than. But still 3 times longer than OP.
Exactly. And, I feel like, yes, you've probably done that in the past, but, like, I feel like you've moved past that point by now. And it's just like, you know how to kind of talk to each other and how to navigate.
It navigate's a good word.
Yeah.
I think it takes a very long time for people in a marriage to stumble through the dark and figure out communication style that is healthy and that works for them. But yeah, it's an ongoing endeavor.
Absolutely, but it is a beautiful endeavor.
Yes,
one that I would never have. No, okay. Anyway,
am I the asshole for telling my podcast partner that he'll never get married?
That he will never find love.
He'll never find love.
You just bring your wife into the room and just say, "Hey, Jaden, you'll never have this." Okay?
Never have this. Wow.
Oh God!
It would make for a great. It would make a hell of a lot of content material.
Yes, it would make for an hour of me just bawling my eyes out.
Give the people what they want, my guy.
Yep. Okay. Yep. They just want me crying on the floor, asking for water too. But anyway.
But So yeah, that was one of the comments. Is that the general consensus? Is that that both parties need to just get a grip, or
or is
this a mixed bag?
Yeah, so the 2 other comments that I came up with was a couple of them said you are the asshole for putting a password on it and everything and going that far, which I kind of get. It's just it does come across as kind of controlling. But again, it depends, as you said, on the context of, what were the avenues that he went down to actually talk to her about this. Was there compromises presented? Did she refuse them? If that's the case and she did refuse the compromises, well then maybe I could see him really not being the asshole and kind of, I don't know. It's kind of a I feel like it's, at the end of the day, it's also her house and she should have access to that. I don't know. Wear more blankets, my dude. Okay, happy wife, happy life. Okay.
About it. Anyway,
okay.
Moving on.
Yes, I think.
Is this going to be one of those? Is it going to be one of those women moments where I say, and I just sip my tea? I don't want it to be one of those.
No,
I don't want it to be.
Well, I think that's a great place to end it on, man. I mean, recording wise, we're at like an hour and 8 minutes. So
all right.
So yeah, man. That was the No Games podcast, guys. Please remember to go and follow Bubz. His links will be coming up on the screen right now in edit, because I'm gonna edit this together and make it look lovely. So yeah, please go and follow Bubz. You can follow me on these things that are coming up from the screen right now. And yeah, man. Anything you want to close it out with?
No, just here's to a successful first episode, man. It was great.
Yes, absolutely.
Definitely have more to come. Love it.
Absolutely. And if I could leave the listeners or the creeps that are watching us right now, don't be an asshole. Yeah,
don't end up on Reddit.
Exactly.
Don't end up the subject of a Reddit post.
Or you'll be in part 2 of Am I the Asshole on this podcast, if there is one.
Yeah, there's definitely going to be a recurring thing.
Yes.
So.
All right. Well, that is the podcast, guys. Thank you. Bye.